Violence in the home and violence against children at the hands of caregivers is one of the most serious types of violence that kids can experience.
When children don't receive services for trauma-related problems, we know that they are at greater risk for being re-victimized and for other types of problems. So it's very important that we provide to kids that we serve the best possible treatment.
My mom met a guy, and it was just awful. He would lock us in the basement. He would burn my private areas with cigarettes. At age 12, I was addicted to heroin.
There's always violence on the streets. Fighting, people getting shot, everything.
My brother, they grew up selling dope and stuff like that. When I turned 12, my big brother got shot in the head, and he ain't make it.
I let my anger build up, and I started going down a path of destruction.
We often think about the youth in the juvenile justice system and the risks that they pose to others. We don't often think about the trauma that's happened to them.
A lot of the children that do come to the attention of the court, there is some sort of trauma in their background. A lot of times it's hidden.
When we do risk and needs assessments to determine why kids get into trouble, we need to start asking, is it because he or she has experienced trauma in their childhood?
Approach, because until we can treat that trauma, everything else that we're doing with the child is going to be ineffective.
When we have traumatized youth where their challenging behavior is dealt with through hours of isolation, who are restrained with handcuffs and shackles, we do further harm.
Person they hurt. For some youth, if they've experienced trauma, there's a part of them that is shut down.
Kids come into the system with a lot of unresolved trauma most of the time, and they're acting out on that trauma through violence or fighting.
We've had kids in here whose siblings have been victims of homicides. We've had kids here who have been shot. The domestic violence within their homes is profound.
Approach, because until we can treat that trauma, everything else that we're doing with the child is going to be ineffective.
Next one, dead.
What trauma does is it triggers what's called the amygdala in the brain, which is our fight, flight, freeze center.
And it truly is a change in the brain and a change in the stress hormones that are flowing through the body.
All our brains have what we call alarm systems, because the brain now has been wired for danger and it's triggered into this fight flight. We don't just get over a traumatic event. It continues to impact us.
If we don't do something with them now, then they remain angry, they fight with staff, they fight with each other, and when they leave, we can expect them to return. The purpose is to try to help them, get their lives back on track.
Research has shown that for adolescents, group approaches are by far the most effective. The second most effective are actually mentoring programs that actually help them develop healthy relationships. There's a real attention to having a structure that reinforces healthy boundaries, and the staff being facilitators versus being guards or enforcers.